Hey everybody, it's Raz from the Semi-Retired Samurai. I hope you're all doing well no matter where you are in this world. And today I want to talk to you about 7 things that quietly change after you retire. Now the first one is you're going to tend not to socialize with old friends. And that's because we're on a different timeline. You're now retired or semi-retired and you got free time to do the things that you want while they're still working a regular job. And so your timelines don't match. You don't travel together. You probably do a lot less things together because your days are free to do what you want. Now, one thing I noticed when I was semi-retired was I started feeling like I was becoming a personal ATM to some friends. I don't know if you encountered that, but they automatically assume that you owe them something. And I've helped countless friends out that were in financial need, but also I have been taken advantage of many times for doing this as well. I had one friend particularly that was upset with me because he came to me asking for services from my business for free. And I told him, no, you're going to have to pay like the rest of the other customers that come in. And he got really, really upset with me. And I was taken back by it because I've never asked him for anything in my life. And I've helped him out with his business. I've given him free equipment, lots of things for no charge. And to come back to me and to be upset with me was pretty disappointing. And I found out about it through a friend of mine who called me, and he said that this person was upset with me that I didn't give him free services. And my friend explained to him that, I was correct, that I shouldn't because I had to make a living. I was just coming out of COVID, so all the businesses were shut down, all businesses were struggling in the hole. And I had to get myself back on my feet financially. And my friend explained this to him, and he didn't quite understand and felt that I should give it for free. Well, to make a long story short, I ended the friendship because friendships shouldn't be all one-sided like that. And I was pretty much upset that a person that I helped out multiple times would put me in a situation like that. And so that was one of the things that was very disappointing. And that led me to create what they call a friendship audit. And I did that last year with my wife. And we looked back on, I guess, the last 10 to 15 years of all the times that we have treated friends for dinner. And I think I can count on maybe one hand on people that have returned the favor back to us. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, when you treat people for dinner or treat them for something, that they got to return something back to you. It all depends on how you look about it. There's some people that are givers, there's some people that are matchers, but my wife and I are very generous, and we love having friends, and we never ask for anything in return, just friendship. And to have these people never even call us once in all these years, even to ask us how we're doing, because that would mean the world to me. But we didn't hear from these people, and we decided, well, of all the money we have spent treating people, how come we never taken that money to enjoy ourselves? And how much money could we have saved and reinvested to better our own lives? So we start to trim down our list of friends, and we keep a very tight circle now of friends who we communicate with and hang out with. And that's made our lives much easier. And one powerful thing that it's taught me is the power of saying no. Because when I was younger, I was very much a people pleaser, and I wanted to please everybody. I didn't want to upset people, and the only person that ended up hurting was myself. And I thought the time was the buck had to stop here. I was getting closer to retirement, and I didn't feel that I should be taking my money to fund other people's retirement or their lifestyle. So that was probably one of the best things I ever did, and it's made me feel a lot less stress, and it also made me, I guess, have a little bit less weight on my shoulders now, because I'm okay with saying no to people. I'm okay with getting rid of people who no longer bring value to my life and joy to my life, and that's okay, because they didn't really care about me in the first place. And so that's basically it. The second thing that you'll notice when you retire that quietly fades away is what you thought was important when you're younger no longer seems that important anymore. And by that I mean, when we're younger, we look to achieve goals to, a lot of times, to impress other people, right? You want the nice house, you want the new fancy car to show that you have made it. And for myself, for many years, like my father, he didn't think that I was going to turn out to be a very good martial artist, let alone a martial arts business owner. And that really affected me through childhood, right up to adulthood. And I made sure that when I got to a point of proficiency in my art, that I was going to compete and be the best I could be. And for many years, I thought, if I win these medals, I will get the recognition I deserve, and everything will be okay. But what I found myself was obsessing over competing, over trying to win. And I spent many, many, many years trying to achieve this. And when I did do well in tournaments and competition, I was off trying to chase the next one, trying to prove to my father that I was worthy. And I realized that after I turned 50 and I stopped competing, that I was okay. I was okay. I thought I would miss competing. I thought I would miss winning. I thought I would miss the recognition of it all. I worried about, okay, will I become irrelevant in my profession? And to tell the truth, I didn't become irrelevant. I just moved on to different goals. And I realized that I spent all those years worrying about trying to prove myself, trying to get all these accolades. And in the end, it didn't really matter, because I thought that if I had done all this, achieved all this stuff, it would better my life. And really, it doesn't, because once you're no longer competing for those things, or you retire, nobody remembers you. The new generation comes back in, the new generation comes up, they replace you, and you're forgotten. And I see this because I see a lot of people put so much self-worth into their career, and years later, you ask the young generation that have come in, they don't remember them. And so I thought about, okay, well, if that doesn't matter anymore, what does? And what I found other things that mattered to me more. And people always ask me, do you ever miss competing? And maybe a few years ago, I think, okay, well, maybe I do. But now I don't miss it all, because I found other things to fill those goals of mine. And for me now is I have a lot more gratitude. I'm very grateful that I am healthy, and still able to train and be around the younger folks. And the most important thing is I found was just being able to share my wisdom now, because so many of the younger generation ask me for advice on things, and I enjoy being a mentor and helping guide them so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did. So that's what I found was important, even though what I felt was important is really to not really sweat it. Don't worry about it, because it's not going to define you for the rest of your life. So the third one is your daily routine is going to look a lot different. It's actually going to slowly dissolve, because normally what happens when before you retire, you wake up. Normally, if you're working for someone with that knot in your stomach and you're operating on pure adrenaline, you're running from place to place, you got meetings on your schedule, and it's changed, because now you wake up, you have so much more reduced stress, you have this weight off your shoulders, and you feel like you can breathe. And there's this feeling of, how should I say, of being alive. And you go for a nice walk, you notice the birds, you notice the warmth of the sun. And I often just like to sit and people watch, right? And do nothing sometimes, just sitting on the park bench without any guilt. And what it's done for me is it's allowed me to practice gratitude, because I think before everything was moving so fast, I didn't have time to sit down and think and be present. And now I have so much gratitude in just being able to live this beautiful life, because so many of my other friends, they never got a chance to grow old. I mean, they passed before their time, and for me to sit there and to complain about this life, I can't imagine. And people always ask me, how was my day? And I said, it's never a bad day, only a learning day, and every day's a happy day when you're on this earth. So the next thing that goes quiet when you are retired is you no longer feel driven by the need to accumulate more wealth. For me, it's understanding when is enough. When I was younger, I thought about chasing as many things as possible and to accumulate as much wealth as possible. And I start to learn that you have to come to a point where you decide what's enough. Is it having a yacht that big of a deal to me? Or asking myself, what is important to me? And for me, my entire life, I grew up in a very stressful household where there was constant arguments amongst my parents on finances, money, and it seemed like every day was a crisis. And I always felt like there was never time to sit down and just live in a household where there was calm, there was peace and stability. And I said to myself that that's basically what I want in my life, is the peace of mind. Peace of mind and a stress-free life. And so when I retired, I got to experience that, or semi-retired. But when you do retire, you're going to feel that peace of mind, and that's the feeling of freedomness and that weight lifted off your chest. And I'm so glad I chose freedom over more accumulation, because my life now has a lot of meaning. Not that it didn't before, because like I said, I run my own business, and a business that I'm passionate about, but it's allowed me to do things that I didn't get to do as a child, and that is to study new things that I'm very interested in, because when I was younger, my parents basically told me what I should study and what I should learn, and enjoying new experiences, because I didn't get that chance when I was younger. So the opportunity to go travel, experience new cultures, new environments, and to meet new people, and just to build, I guess, work on your own, I guess, work on yourself and grow as a person. There's many things that I want to practice that I didn't get a chance to when I was working, and maybe just to go take a yoga class, or to get out of my comfort zone. Maybe I want to do painting, and I always want to learn more languages. So I thought, okay, well that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to do these things that I've put off, read new books, meet new people, and so that is basically what I so basically now I have peace of mind, and through peace of mind, when my head is clear, I'm able to go out and think and do these things that I want to do. So the fifth thing that will fade when you retire is every day when I used to wake up, I used to feel that adrenaline on Sunday night, knowing that I had a busy week ahead of me, and I was constantly rushing from meeting and doing this and making sure that everything ran smoothly. But now, being in semi-retired, I can step back and no longer feel that I'm in a hurry to do everything, which really lowers the stress level. You know, I wake up in the morning, I handle my tasks, oversee what the business is doing, just through speaking to my managers and so forth, and then I go about my day. Normally now it's spent thinking about things that I want to do, such as exercise, a simple hike. Sometimes I'll even start working on a low stress project of mine. But I no longer feel like I have to do things. Now I do things that I want on my terms. So the sixth thing that will fade when you retire is you no longer have to wake up to an alarm clock. You can now stay up a little bit later to do the things that you like. I find at nighttime, it stimulates a lot of ideas for me, and I also like to spend that time unwinding and just reading about things, maybe watching a tutorial on how to create passive income streams, how to learn how to speak a new language. I like to study other people and their success habits. So that's probably one of the things that is great about semi-retirement, is not being on the clock anymore. And the seventh last one that fades when you retire is your identity. Will be, how should I say, your identity that you associate yourself with your job will disappear. And I think that's a fear of many people. I didn't realize this, but my wife, she has a very stressful corporate job, and she's always complaining to me every at the end of every year. about how stressful her job is and so forth. And so I decided this year that, okay, well, why don't I do this? I said to her, well, why don't you quit your job, think about retiring, or maybe quit for 6 months just to see what it's like. And now you have your chance to consult. You can work part-time, you can do contract work, but it'll be less stressful and it'll give you the opportunity to travel and have more free time to do what you want. And I thought that she would jump at this idea, but there was a little bit of hesitancy when I proposed this to her. And one of the things that I think she's worried about is what will happen to the title and those things that I worked so hard for over the years. And I was actually shocked by it because I thought that she'd be so happy to jump at the chance. But I guess she's facing one of those decisions: is what will happen to her? What will her identity be when she's no longer in that position of influence? And the thing I have to say about it is, somewhere down the road, you're going to have to pass the torch to the younger generation, and you're no longer going to be in that career anymore. And I think you have to accept that, because ultimately what many of us want is to work so that we can have the freedom to do what we want to do and to have the freedom to choose what we want to do. And I believe, and this is from what I see from a lot of people who are retired, is if you can find some kind of purpose after retire. So for her, I think that if she would be great if she found her calling in contract work or in working part-time, then I don't see it as such a bad thing, because now she gets to explore things that she never thought was possible when she was working that job. And maybe she might find some fulfillment in that, but it allows her to explore other options. But I guess after 30 years of working in the corporate world, it's very hard for her to let go of that. And I hope that she understands that this is a great opportunity for her to further grow herself. For myself, I mean, like I said, I was a competitor. I'm no longer a competitor, and I'm okay with it. And I think one of the things that I encountered was when I started stepping back from my business, being there on a daily basis, teaching the students and so forth. I used to teach 7 days a week, almost every class, especially when I first opened up, and all the students knew who I was. But as my business grew, I had to be able to delegate my tasks to other staff members in order for me to grow, in order for me to scale, and in order for me not to burn out. And one day I came into my business and I noticed that some of the people didn't recognize who I was, and I didn't recognize some of the new people because they didn't come in the times I was teaching class. And at first I was a little bit taken back by it, because I was like, wow, this is my own business, and some of the clients don't know who I am. But I understand now that it's part of evolution of me as a business person. And I think that if I held that view of hanging on to my identity, I would never be in the position I am now, which is to be able to step back and to be able to have some freedom to enjoy the hard work that I put into the business. So I hope that that video gives you some insight and maybe some inspiration. And I want to hear your comments. Are you semi-retired, retired, or thinking of retirement? And are these the feelings that you are experiencing as well? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video or like the content that I've been producing, please feel free to like, share, and please, if you like the content, check out my next video. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.